Katelyn, you ready?
I guess I'm as ready as I'll ever be, Neil.
You got this. You got this. Because I'm going to start you off with something simple. I'm going to start you off with something incredibly simple, right? What is the current problem with mentorship in the cybersecurity space?
So this is really an interesting question that I kind of fell into this problem as I was spending a lot of time on InfoSec Twitter. And the problem is I've seen it and experienced it, is that a lot of people want a mentor. So people, whether they're trying to break into security, there could be a student, they could be in IT today and trying to break in, maybe they've been unemployed and are trying to shift gears, or maybe they've been in security, 20 or 30 years and they're looking for their next step. It's really hard to find a mentor. So the biggest problem is just the fact that it's hard to find the right person. It's hard to get people to respond to you. It's hard to understand how to navigate the relationship. And it just becomes really time consuming for individuals to go and try to find a mentor, and understand all of the pieces that go into how to successfully manage a relationship with a mentor.
Is that because we fail at mentorship in cybersecurity?
So I actually think in a lot of ways we do feel at mentorship. Is that terrible to say?
It's
I
not
have some
terrible to say.
controversial opinions.
No, that's exactly why we're here. Real conversations with real people. Why do we fail at mentorship?
Well, people are so tired. People are incredibly overworked. They're burned out. And when you get to that point, there's not a lot of emotional capacity left to mentor other people. And that's actually, in my opinion, this is one of the biggest reasons why we have a hard time with entry-level jobs. When you have entry-level jobs in security, it requires training, it requires mentorship from the team. And what we see over and over again is that some teams are like, look, we don't have enough staff to dedicate to the mentorship component that's really needed. So I see this as a really pervasive issue.
Is it, who should be taking ownership for the lack of community caring about mentorship?
Well, I really believe in groundswell kind of forces, right? It requires people, individuals, to say, this is important to me. And it's important whether you're unemployed today or whether you even have a job today, and you're looking for people to help guide you. And then we need to start getting these organizations to care about it too. I mean, it's a combination of an individual and an organizational responsibility. And there's so many years of research now that's been done on mentorship, and tons of decades of studies. And what we see is when people do have mentors, they are less likely to leave a job. They report more job satisfaction. People with mentors make more money. They get promoted more often. If you're part of an organizational mentorship program, you're even less likely to leave your job because you're just so much happier in the job. So I see mentorship as being able to address people being able to break into security, people being less burned out in their current positions, and generally helping to pave the way for people to break in or advance.
But let me dig into that a little bit, right? Because mentorship isn't a new topic. Mentorship's been around since the Knights of the Round Table, and probably earlier. If companies really thought that mentorship was so important, they would invest more on it. So ergo, since they don't invest on it, and since they don't allow the people to work on it, are we lying to ourselves that mentorship is important, or have companies just decided that because it doesn't help the bottom line, they're just going to ignore the fact that it's important?
So I don't think that we're lying to ourselves that mentorship is important. I will, die on this sword of mentorship being extremely important. but when we look at doing this organizationally, it's really expensive and time consuming. So to get a mentorship program stood up properly, it takes a lot of resources and time and planning so that the basis of the program is right. Because there's also research that shows that bad mentors or mentorship programs without structure can do more harm than good. So if organizations cannot invest in the time and the energy it takes to build the program out and actually like manage it, then it can be detrimental. So that's where we're seeing some friction. But I'm actually starting to hear from companies with this new remote workforce and what COVID has done, that mentorship programs internally at large organizations are getting a lot more attention.
When you say that, does that mean that we start to see people just acknowledge them in the HR conversation that, yeah, I wish we could put on our 2021 or 2022 roadmap a mentorship program, or do you actually see companies saying we're going to allocate 50,000 a year or 100,000 a year, whatever their cost budget is that they're able to afford, towards mentorship programs?
They've started actually allocating real dollars towards the program. Now, what I haven't started seeing is everybody having access to the program. So today there is a lot of focus on high performers in teams. So if you're, what they consider to be a top 20% hire, or somebody that they just can't afford to lose, they're more likely within an organization to invest in enrolling you in a mentorship program.
For up-to-the-minute cybersecurity news, make sure you follow and subscribe to the Cyber and Security channel on Twitch and YouTube. Also, make sure you turn on those notifications so that you know when we go live.